Hello, GeoWell community. Welcome to another Fireside Chats. This is our version of a mastermind where we're heart-centered business owners, conscious about what we're doing, coming together as community and collaborating on all things healing, mind, body, and spirit. So we're excited today. We're going to be talking about empowering our business and our skills through marketing. And so we've got Will Green on, who is our in-house marketing connoisseur. And if you want to go ahead and say hi and wave, so anybody of the viewers that will be watching. And
Hello.
then David DeArmond, he's been helping us with many of the fireside chats. He's the owner, operator of Strix Technologies with cybersecurity and IT technology. So what I love about GeoWell is, yes, we are focused on healing and bringing those providers together, but we also are this community of seekers. And part of that is we have people that we know, love, and trust that are experts in the IT, in the marketing, in the law, in the tax, in the finance, which we all have to balance that as business owners and just in life. So super grateful and thankful for you guys for coming on and sharing your wisdom with the rest of us. So thank you. Um, Really quick to get started. Well, we're going to do the fireside chat. I've got a slide that I want to share. I think probably Will can elaborate a lot on this as the marketing expert on here. But my intention with this is for all of us to be able to share some nuggets of information. Those, what I asked, like tips, tricks, or anything that helps you be more proficient, efficient, save time, make life easier type of stuff. So if you've got something, we can share the screen and we'll share that today. I think it's just really important that, that we find those holes, those potholes in our business, and we fill those up and make life a lot easier so we can do what we do best and really stay in that power. But really quick before we get started, let's just do a quick introduction. There's 5 of us on here right now. So we'll just do a super fast, like 30-second introduction and say your name, your business, and what you have to share with this world. 30 seconds or less. Dr. Dana, you're ready.
Let's do it. So I'm Dr. Dana Mockenhop. I'm the owner of Inspire Natural Medicines, and I'm going to be the new owner of my new botanical business, Grounded Botanicals. It will be launching soon. I am here to spread love and joy and connect people with plants and remind us that we're all kids inside.
I love it. I love it. Michelle.
I am Michelle Brown Cole with Talahi Wellness, and I help heal the world with Reiki and life activation, and I help people connect to their own divinity.
Love it. Thank you. Will Green.
Hi, I'm Will Green with Business Synergy Group Connect, and what we do is we help you find your true voice and get that out into the world and share it with people and find ways to stay in contact with them on a consistent basis and hopefully make it super easy for the business owner and super enjoyable for the client to be able to interact with the brands.
Thank you. And you've been a huge help for me, and I think others on this screen as well. So thank you for that. You're amazing.
Thank you.
Yes. David DeArmond.
Yeah, David DeOrmond, Strix Technology Group. We we provide IT for small businesses, but what do I do personally? I connect dots. That's what I like to do. I find all the different puzzle pieces and different things and connect them all and figure out how they work together. That's why I like business so much. It's all about connecting a bunch of dots together, making something more beautiful.
And you are, I call you the wizard. The wizard with all the WhatsApp, all the applications and everything. So yeah, that is your gift. You're really good at that for sure. For sure. Okay. Nikki McGregor, founder and facilitator of the GOL Network, Gathering the Lightworkers community. And I have a huge passion for finding the better ways of healing and helping share that key with other people. My story comes from my dad having early onset Alzheimer's, and that's just part of the why, but it's one of them and it's a big one. And the people I've met today in GOL would have made his quality of life better. I can't change his life because he's since passed, but we can change other people's lives moving forward. So that's one of many, but it's a big why in my life of sharing. So thank you guys for coming on, and thank you guys for whoever is watching and reviewing this later. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive in. I'm going to share my screen, and I would love for Will, I think what I'm going to bring up on the screen, he hasn't seen this, but he knows all about it. So I'm going to share my screen, and we're all going to be hold to the side here. Let's see. Present. Okay. So Will could talk a lot about this, but we talk about this together, customer journey.
Mhm.
Bring people in, and this is something that I pulled from Katuva. So I'm going to give them a shout out. Katuva has virtual assistants, and they did a lunch and learn. So this is some information that he had that really sums up, you know, that customer journey, the client journey of where you're looking to grow your business. You're looking for people to, you know, that want your services. And so coming in. So I'm going to, if you don't mind, Will, I'm going to pitch you the mic, and do you mind kind of just taking over on that part and giving your thought process of just that customer journey overall perspective?
Yeah. So basically, like you said, it's just a customer journey. So it all starts with awareness, right? So if a customer isn't aware of a product or service that you might have to offer, then they really don't have a chance to do business with you. And that's can be unfortunate, especially since, you know, we're all so good, right, at what we do. And so it's important to be where your customer's eyes are. And so in the first section there with the customer journey, we talk about awareness. And so, you know, being out in social media, blogs, YouTube, events, podcasting. Also, I would add a couple of things to that as well. You know, there's a lot of stuff online that we get involved with, and it's so very important to be able to be there, but also being in front of potential customers, right? So, you know, having yourself, you know, available at events that you're doing, like networking and stuff like that, like yours, Nikki. This group is wonderful for that, where, you know, leads are getting exposed to educational opportunities, as well as they're, you know, getting exposed to social opportunities and things like that. Also keeping in mind that business owners can, you know, throw their own events as well, right? And say, hey, let's have a coffee, right? And let's invite the neighborhood and do a shout out to everybody here in the neighborhood. So awareness can be, you can be made aware of a business several different ways. So just making sure that you are well prepared and that you have that information. If you're going to go to a networking event, or if you're going to do something like that, having like printed materials, something to leave behind, a way for people to connect with you. Try to focus on setting, you know, setting appointments with them, and then going from there. So, you know, making sure that your presence also, when it comes to awareness, is consistent, right, throughout everything, right? So you want to make sure that your branding and your colors, all of those things match your website, match your social media, and so that branding is consistent throughout, right? And your voice is consistent throughout, because, you know, we want to make sure that not only can people find you, but people are going to experience the type of same type of experience that they would if they were inside your four walls or interacting with you personally. You want them to get the vibe, right? Like, who are you? And understand that part of it. So that's where awareness comes in for me. What about you guys? Do you have anything to add to awareness?
I, I like that you mentioned the branding and the color, because I think of awareness as recognition as well. So people, of course, can recognize your face when they see you. That's why, you know, real estate agents, you know, they always have their face on everything, and so you recognize them and you're aware of who they are. But your branding and your colors, logos are so important, right? people need to recognize your brand, and they need to see it anywhere. And that way, I feel like your marketing goes further, because the little things that you just leave out everywhere, it's a little click in their head. Oh yeah, that's BSG there, or whatever.
Mhm.
So I like that you mentioned branding in there.
There's Will and I went to this class. It was Your Brand Sucks. Do you remember that? And there's a book, and I can let you guys borrow it. But it talks about how, like, if you're developing your brand and colors and shapes, and like even on this, right? I use a lot of soft edges and the color schemes with the chakras from the heart to the crown. They're and there's that awareness. So he would bring up like Coca-Cola or Pepsi or McDonald's, and how the colors hold emotions, how the shapes hold emotions, how the font types are using real soft colors or real vibrant colors. All of that like will gear towards something more of a softer or more of an edgy corporate. And so being mindful across the board, yeah, that was actually a really great class that we went to for awareness on that.
Yeah, and even like the tone, right, of the music, right, and understanding like, hey, when I post this, if it does it sound like me, right? Does it sound like your business? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you a market disruptor? Are you trying to disrupt like traditional medicine, let's say, right? Or are you kind of like wanting to put people at ease with your brand, right? What does that look like, and how does that feel? And so it can transcend color, it can transcend, symbols, all of that stuff, because and you looking at your visual imagery, right? What kind of how are you doing the digital assets? What's that look like, right? So, whether you're doing a video, and how does that carry, and how are you conducting yourself with that, and the emotions that can be portrayed through all of that. All of that goes into your brand.
Yeah, Michelle, anything on the awareness that comes to mind for you?
The only thing that is coming to my mind is the actual advertising target, and it kind of follows this customer journey where, out in the outer rings of this target are things, this is where they're not even aware. They're not even aware they need they're not even aware they need your product or service, much less know who you are. And so awareness is a game about frequency and reach. How many places can you be, and how often can you be there? And then it just moves in, and it literally does. It actually moves into just customer. It doesn't go to raving fans, but then you've got, your next ring in on this target is going to be, okay, now these people are aware of you. They're aware they have a need. They're aware of you, and they are now in the process of becoming a lead. And so these are the things that can help turn those leads, the magnets, email, newsletters, calls, all of those can take that lead into being a customer. And then once they're a customer, that's when they're in the bullseye. Now they're ready. Now their checkbook is out.
Now, is there anything in the awareness that you feel like that you guys like what you focus on? Anything on that list, and then the marketing, like I think Will's right, going out and networking, the different like GOL events, the different networking events, anything in particular that kind of is your go-to for awareness?
I've got a little. So I think from this, my two big takeaways, one, and Will said this, we need to put out so much more awareness of what we do, right? Setting that expectation of what it looks like to come into your office, because Reiki healers never do the same thing. I don't care if you're trained in the same thing. Everybody does it differently. Their room is set up differently. And what is your expectation for them at the end of the visit, right? Is it to be calm and collected, or is it to work on past life things, or is it a soul life? And setting that up in the social media, because like that for me, when I started telling people, I use the pulse, I use the tongue, and I'm showing it then I'm getting people that immediately want to come see me for that, right? So then that creates, I call it the unique butterfly. We all are unique, right? And so if you can make people aware of how you're different, or how this, massage practice that you do is going to land differently, and here's what the expectation is. Oh my gosh, the lead and the prospects are just like, ba, 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 because they now have an understanding of who you are and why you do what you do, right? That's your mission, that's your calling, all of it mixed into it. So that's what I focused on. And I am so honored at how much more successful I've been from just switching that expectations.
And I think too, what you're saying, I find is the like, not the trigger words, the hot words, right? It's like, sir, oh wait, yes, checking the pulse, that's new. I haven't heard of that, right? It kind of captures the audience.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And we all have those. That's the beautiful thing to being in the alternative field, is that's what drew us there, is something that uniquely drew us in. And so there's people out there that are looking for that, right? And I get cold calls all the time of people looking for very interesting requests, and it's awesome. So I say that to inspire people, of people are looking for this on a bigger level. Like, they're reaching out to doctors now and wanting to have these conversations. So super great.
Yeah.
Which leaves the doctors flat-footed. They don't know how to have a conversation about that.
I know, it's awesome. Oh, I love it.
Will, do you want to take the lead in prospect?
Yeah. So if you look at it like kind of like a funnel, and you're looking at the top like you're saying, or like the bullseye, like you were talking about, Michelle, the awareness is kind of that outer ring. And the next section here on the lead to prospect, this is where it can get really, really interesting, because now you're defining who it is you're actually talking to, right? Then this is where like you kind of look at, okay, who is it that I want to come into my office, or who is it that I want to help? We want to help everybody, but not everybody is the ideal person for us to be able to help, right? Some people, we're better off to refer them off, or some people don't need our help, they need something else, right? And so understanding who we're talking to is so very important. And so when you develop things like lead magnets, where it may be, an idea, you're really trying to attract that person that's your ideal customer, right? And so think about that, like when you're like, with your email, like if you have an email campaign, and say you have multiple different types of customers that might be your ideal customer types, right? So maybe that might look like, a woman over 30 that has kids, right? Or it might look like a man that, is a single, a single man, right? That is over 50, right? And he's just got some aches and pains and stuff like that. Or maybe it's, whatever that looks like. Now you can start to tailor, right, your communication. You can say, okay, look, I want to talk to, like a like a construction guy, and I want to talk to, the single moms, and I want to talk to that. And then you can utilize the emails and the lead magnets to attract those specific people. So that way it feels like you're sending that message directly to them. Another thing that's really, really important is to vary your points of contacts, right? And so when you talk about different ways of contacting, you don't want to just inundate them with emails. You want to be able to call, right? You want to be able to do presentations, possibly do text message marketing, things like that. All of those things can come into play. So having a flow in which you communicate with people, that really is important, and leading them down the path of, getting, setting an appointment or taking an action to, improve their health in some way, shape, or form,
Hey, Will, what are some good lead magnets? So, what exactly is a lead magnet? What are good
Yeah.
ones?
What is the lead magnet?
Yeah, so you can use a lot of different things for a lead magnet, but a lot of times it has to do with like a strong offer. So for instance, you might have a book that you're preparing, or that you've thought about writing, right? and it's like 80% or 90% complete. It could be one of those things, right? Where you're saying, hey, would you like a copy of my book? Or would you like to learn more about this particular topic? You know, if you sign up today, we'll go ahead and get you a free copy of the book. And, you know, maybe the follow-up email might be like, hey, you know, we noticed you haven't signed up and gotten the free copy of the book. If you sign up today, we're going to go ahead and give you a book and a free session, or possibly, you know, another type of order bump, right? So it gives you an opportunity to kind of, you know, give them an offer, but then also let them follow down that path to get more value for, or perceived value for what you're trying to do to get them to interact with your brand.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
So you might have heard the terms funnels, things like that. Those would be similar to that, right? You're saying, you know, hey, I'm going to offer a strong offer, you know, and then, you know, it leads down a path to where they're getting more value, more value. So if you've ever been in one of those funnels, you know that you have like several different offers that come down, and next thing you know, you're getting $700 worth of stuff for like $27.99 or whatnot, right? So
Yeah.
And I think too, like being able to structure that, you know, within your brand and the emotion of your brand too, you know, versus that strong buy this, right? For the
yes,
next 4
exactly.
hours only.
You don't want to lose your voice, right? And just become that cheesy, salesy type of thing, right? And it doesn't feel good to anybody. And you'll know when you start to deviate from that, because it won't feel good, right? So you have to trust spirit for that.
Well, and one of our members, Veronica Moss, I'm going to give a little plug for her. She said at one of the coffee and collaborations once that we're not here to sell things. We're here to share things, right? And so funnels and stuff are like, let me just educate you more. Like, I think this is a good fit for you. Look at this book, look at this, right? So yeah, we're trying to sell a product, but also it's because if I'm going after it, I truly think this person would benefit, right? And so I'm trying to give them tools and ideas, or even just like little nuggets of information to help them to see the benefit, right? So it's sharing that information that helped me so much. So thank you, Veronica. If you do ever listen to this, that really changed the way that I went after lead perspectives.
Yeah,
I think that goes back to
yeah, go ahead.
what you were saying, Dana, about knowing who your prospect is, because then you can create those lead magnets that speak directly to your prospect and provide the most benefit for your prospect, and get them into your funnel where you can benefit them even more.
Yeah.
And that could be too doing your different workflows for and advertising, right? So if you're putting a social media post, like what you're talking about, like the single mom or the mom of 2 kids that's dealing with some hormonal imbalancing or syncing or weight issues, and then another separate social media post that has a different conversation and voice for that man, right? That's having pain and not able to get back to his active, like you were giving those examples. So you could even use the same templates and just flop it a little bit.
Yeah, and then like you said, it is an opportunity to share, right? And so that's what I love about newsletters as well. You can get it really away from the salesy part of it and talk about successes, about people that have, you know, maybe there's another provider that you refer business, you know, that you refer business to, right? Or maybe there's you know, a particularly successful, you know, scenario that has happened that you're able to share a little bit about, right? Keeping, of course, if you have to respect HIPAA and stuff like that, you have to keep specifics out. But you can talk about like, hey, this person came into my office and they were here and now they're here. They couldn't walk and now they can, right? And that's huge, right? Because not every lead and not every prospect is going to convert. And so you never want to look at people as like, okay, well, now they're gone, right? I didn't convert them, so now they're not a customer, let's say, which is the next section, right? Because even if they don't become a customer, they could still become somebody that's a referral partner for you, right? They could still be somebody that, you know, that really values what you do, but they just wasn't a right fit for them, and so they could still refer people to you. So, getting them on the newsletter and the emails and campaigns like that and everything could actually be still beneficial for you, because people love to spread the good word as well, right? They want to spread good news as well. So if they hear of somebody making a difference and you're that person that's making a difference, they want to share that, because let's face it, there's not a lot of great news out there. So hopefully you can provide that.
Yeah, I love that. And I think that it's kind of like skipping that step. I was just talking to Michelle today about this, but for like the law of influence, our best ambassadors or promoters might never become our clients. So it's exactly what you're saying, like, and honoring that, like, not getting hung up on the sale, but just all kind of your army of people that's going to be that brand loyalty, right? And the brand promoter. So it does kind of skip that step, but it's still crucial part of building a business. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Should we go on to customer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So think of customers. There's a lot of, think of customers like as a guest in your house, right? So if somebody comes over and they, maybe they've been invited for dinner, and you open the door for them, you greet them, you invite them into your space, you offer them a drink, right? Maybe you offer them an appetizer because food's still getting cooked, right? Those types of things. And they have dinner. You ask them, if they would like seconds, or if they would like more, right? Or if they would like to have dessert, or if there's maybe something else, maybe an after dinner drink, maybe things like that. So if you think about like a customer in that sense, right, that these are people are guests of your business or guests of your home, it really makes sense when you talk about things like upsells, right? So hey, you know what, you got a product for me, and I really think that this product would complement that, or this service would complement that. Cross sells, where it's just like, you know what, I noticed that this was happening here, and you got this from me, but I really think that you should see my friend, because my friend can, really help you with this part of things, right? So let me go ahead and refer you over to somebody. Um, you know, Down sells, where you're like, you know you're you're selling a product, you sold a bigger product, but now you're selling a smaller service or product, or you're offering a smaller service or product to go with it, because it's just going to enrich that experience, right? And the overall experience, right? What does the journey look like? Is it clunky, right? Is it clunky for your customers to have to go through? Is it hard for them to do business with you? Can you take a payment, right from your phone, right? Can you give them that service right away? Is it easy for them to book an appointment with you and schedule with you? Is it easy to get a hold of you? Those things are super important. And then, of course, you know, customers that have purchased from you, they're 80% more likely to purchase new products from you and other services from you. So finding a way to stay in contact with them, like through your email and newsletters, and letting them know about your new services and new ways that you're able to help them, and understand that that's valuable to them, because they want to always, once they've done business with you, they already value you. And so increasing that value for them is just good customer service.
I think
Right.
I think you start creating some we have these arrows going here, but right there you kind of start creating some circles, because you're talking about sending emails to your customers. They're the ones that are going to buy from you. But as you get to know them better, how do you know what to upsell to them? And then how are they aware of what you're trying to upsell? Well, it's through, again, the lead prospect, and you send them the email so that they are now aware, and then they will buy. So I think here you're really starting to see how this all recycles.
Yeah, and then also, customers that maybe have been past customers, right? So maybe they were coming to you for a while, and they for some reason had to stop. Maybe there was a life change, or maybe there was something else that had happened, or maybe they just fell off the radar. They forgot, right? And so customer reactivation campaigns, for instance, reaching back out to them and letting them know that, hey, things have changed with our practice. Things have changed with what we're doing. And, we're offering some new stuff and we'd love to have you back. Right. So like inviting somebody back for dinner. Guess what? We're making lasagna tonight. Come on by. You didn't have lasagna last time. You had whatever. You had a roast, right? So come on by, try the new stuff, because guess what? It's delicious. It's wonderful. You're going to love it and you're going to feel great. Right. Organic, of course.
Could that be like an open house or like an event? What would your re-invite will look like? What would be different like ways to launch that new service that you could
Yeah,
think
so
of?
there's lots of different ways that you can do that. Yeah, like you said, you could have an open house and reintroduce things and invite past customers and current customers. You could do just as simple like, hey, we haven't heard from you in a while, and because we haven't, we're going to go ahead and give you a special to come on in and try us out again. Because you used to come to us and now you don't. So let's get you back in the door and see what this is. See what's new here, right? People love new announcements, they love special events, and they love to feel special. So if you can find a way for those customers to make them feel special, like it's a special thing that you're just offering them to come and check out, it really resonates with people.
Question for you on emails. We talked about this in another fireside chat, but it seems like it used to take 8 touches to have somebody want to be a customer, and now it's up to like 17 or 18 times. But we talk about like newsletters or emails or or social media, but what is a normal or kind of like a goal for the number of social media posts or the number of emails done, like the frequency of that?
Well, that could really depend on the product type and everything, and also the audience and who you're trying to get to. There's some accepted averages out there. 8 to 10 contacts is still the accepted rule of thumb. It's varying the context though. That's really important, right? So you want to make sure that you're utilizing different forms of communication. So on the first part of like when you're working with a prospect, 8 to 10 is the accepted kind of way to do it. So, and you can look at, maybe that's a 3-step email sequence and then a phone call, right? Where you actually call them up. And maybe that's followed up with a text message. So in the healthcare providing system, like if you're providing with somebody, I think that a text message to, hey, I just wanted to shoot you a quick text to see how you're doing. That would be a really good follow-up for somebody that's in the health system, right? Or working with people and patients. How are you feeling after a session? Is there anything that you could do, or maybe some helpful tips and tricks? You know what? You just had this this healing. You need to drink lots of water, and you need to do this, this, and this. Get back to me if you have any other questions. All of that is super important. So to answer your question, it can vary, but the biggest thing is you want to use different forms of communication, because different people will get tired of you communicating the same way over and over and over again, right? So even I even use a product called send out cards, where I'll actually send out like a card to people just to say, hey, thank you. And it's more of a personalized touch, right? So all of those can be very, very important. And some people will place a higher value on like a personal handwritten card than they will, let's say, a text message, right? So varying those points of contact and the ways you can connect with people is super important. And also it's really good to keep notes, right? So like if you are working with your customer and everything, take notes and keep them in its place. Like if you have a CRM, like we do, you take a note on your customer. What are their preferences? What are their likes? What are their kids' names? What, every time you have a conversation with somebody that's a customer, you get an opportunity to get more information, right? So like if you can, try to get some more information to find a way to connect with them in a unique way, It's so very helpful because it's just like, at that point, you're going and saying, hey, gosh, Dana, how was your trip to the mountains? I know that you were looking at, trying to get this, particular plant. Did you find what you were looking for the last time? And it could be like 3 months down the road, like I haven't seen you as a customer. But if I know that that happened and I know that that's what you're doing because I have notes, it makes that conversation pleasurable for that person that you're talking to. And it's just, again, providing good customer service.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And it kind of goes into, you end up building your ambassador with that brand, and what we talk about, the authentic relationships
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you care, right? You're taking notes because you care.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's important because a lot of people, I think are reluctant. A lot of people that are really coming from the heart, they're reluctant to use these systems because they feel like they're systematizing their relationships and they're not being authentic anymore. And I don't want to do that. But if we have to recognize our limits as humans and understand that we want to help as many people as we possibly can, and it's going to be very difficult for us to remember all of that, and this is really a tool to help us be to help us remember these people, and to to help us be more authentic and to help us be more valuable, and it's a tool to do all of those things that we believe are important. It's not cheapening the relationship whatsoever. It's improving it significantly.
Another thing that this is really going to do for us, I think all of this, every time we have one of these, I take something away that I can use in my business that makes it better. But as we all know, we are entering the era where this kind of service is going to overtake the allopathic medical model, unless the allopathic model steps in and recognizes they're just a part of a larger cluster of healthcare options. And in utilizing what you're talking about, Will, is how we can set ourselves apart
Mhm.
as not just as individuals who are providing services, but as individuals that are members of GOL. So it will put each of us in a better situation. And it might even create a situation where people are like, oh, is she a GOL member? Oh, okay, yeah, those are the ones you want to go to. And I really can see that happening with the kinds of education that we're getting here as professional members. It will set us apart. These
Oh,
kinds of things always have.
yeah, 100%.
And
Well,
I
and,
think
and
it,
the,
oh, sorry,
go
go ahead,
ahead.
Will.
Oh, I was just going to say, and the thing is, yeah, there's methodologies and there's tools, right? And you have like tools and you have methodologies. And here's the thing. There's a ton of people out there that can use all of the same tools. There's a ton of people out there that can even use a lot of the same methodologies that you use. But what really makes a difference is the heart and the intent behind it, right? So if the heart and the intent behind it is really for the enrichment of the experience of the people that are involved, and it's for the mutual benefit, then you're going to have something special, and that would be something that's not duplicatable, right? They can't duplicate that. People can't duplicate that or copy that or take that away, right? So, you know, websites have been done. Anybody, you can find a website. Anybody can do a website. You know what I mean? You can find that information on YouTube. You can find information on how to email people and do funnels and stuff like that. You can find that elsewhere. But it's the intent and the thought and that's behind it that makes that huge difference.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
And it's the integrity and the quality of every individual that comes into this group and what gets amplified. including both the community members, our experts that are coming in and building and supporting this amazing community. So we can have these providers that can help with the healing, but we have this back team like Will, like David, like everybody else on our GOL team that make this possible. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Michelle. And following up, Will.
Yeah. Well, and the quick plug of like the importance, I think, to take these notes for your clients. You know, I coming from the healthcare practitioner side, but health is holistic, right? So if we're only talking about knee pain and shoulder pain and all of these things, we're missing the big picture of who a human is, right? And so the more we ask them questions about whole aspects of their life, one, they realize how important it is that they do go out to the forest and go with plants, or they do go hang out and go run with their dog, or, you know, or whatever it is, right? But then it also helps us to go, that energy is going to match for this GOL member to go see. You should go see Michelle because, oh man, that Reiki is going to go really well with this narrative pattern that I'm seeing playing out. Oh yeah, that's going to be a great fit. Or, oh, you have a dog? Maybe on your treatment plan, you should go hiking with your dog, right? So it really does clue you into this person and how to help them better to find the tools that they need. So it's not, health is not just a tunnel, right? It is all parts of your life. And that's something that we as GOL members and this whole society really focus on. And that's how you're going to get incredible customers and you're going to get incredible ambassadors because you see them for them, not just for the problems that they're showing up with.
I love that. I love that. And that goes into like the ambassadors, or what David said, raving fans. Raving fans. Jasmine.
Yeah. I love the ambassadors, right? Because this is where, you know, throughout this entire process, awareness, lead, prospect, customer, you know, you're really trying to create a relationship, and those relationships are so important, right? And then where a lot of people stop is they stop at the customer, right? They stop at that. They don't really think about how can we make this relationship so valuable that this customer, that this new relationship becomes a relationship where this person wants to talk about us, right? Or maybe they don't become a customer, but they want to tell people about the message and everything. So I think it's important to understand that intent too, and say, okay, look, if we're going to do all of these things and we're going to do them well, and we're going to expand upon the experience that they're having, how can we reward these people, right? Or how can we create a system that's going to allow them to seek that? Now, if you do well enough, people just want to tell people about you anyway, and there really isn't any incentive needed. The incentive to them is that they're recommending a friend, and that friend is getting taken care of. But it is nice to have affiliate programs, and by doing that and allowing people to maybe earn a little bit of recognition even, or maybe even a discount or a service for themselves, those things can really go a long way, because thank you goes a long way. And so if you think of this as a way of saying, hey, thank you for coming, right? I really appreciate you. Thank you for telling your friends about us. We really appreciate you. And this is a way that we are rewarding people, because we want people to understand that we appreciate them being the biggest advocates out there in the community. That's where you can really kind of transcend that transaction, right? So now it's not a transactional relationship. It's a relationship where you're saying, hey, thank you for bringing your friend. I really appreciate it, you know. And then also in that vein, having special events, like I said, if you can say, let's say you have, potential customers that you've kept a list of, that maybe they've interviewed with you, or they've gone through some sort of sales process with you, but they haven't been able to make a commitment, or wasn't the right fit for them at the time. And then you have, current clients and people that are raving about you and that love you. Having a get together, like a special event where people get to interact with you and your brand, right? Where they get to talk to people that have had that positive experience and said, you know what, gosh, if you're not doing this, you should be, because this person is amazing. They made a difference in my life. You know what I mean? I was here and now I'm here. Those types of special events, that's a great way to kind of, we used to do it all the time. We used to do high level prospects where we were doing like, $20,000 SEO programs and this and that, where we would say, hey, we're going to invite these people that we have a good relationship already, and they would be in there at the same time. So they would get the opportunity to talk about us and how well we did for them. And so then, that would ease any concerns that those other clients had, and then they would go with us. So having customer appreciations, having employee appreciations if you have employee, having, provider appreciations where maybe you have vendor appreciation nights, right? Where you guys get together, right? All of those things help to create that, those raving fans.
And that kind of, like what David said, circles back where you
Yeah.
can kind of bring in your new products, right? Like kind of bring it back, that prospect lead customer, they can invite guests, you see like an open house, you have raffles and like a customer appreciation night. You can get creative, you can do all sorts of circles on this page.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
you're looking at the new products there. So what better way to announce your new product than with a special event where you can create awareness and develop your leads? It's round and round we go here.
Where we stop, nobody knows. Oh, I love it.
Not only that, but if you are inviting clients to a special event, and in that special event, they get to be the first to hear about this brand new product, service, etc. that you're doing, that's another way to really, really drive in just how important and how special they are to your business.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that.
Yeah. Well done. Well done, Will. I love it. Anybody have questions on this part or comments for the customer journey?
Yeah, I don't know. Thinking about all of this, I do, I guess, see or feel where it can become quite overwhelming for the mechanics of all of this, because there are so many moving parts here, right? The all of the social media, and then and following up with the prospects, and then providing good customer service so that you have the raving fans. That feels like it can get just monstrous. So I don't know if anybody's got thoughts or recommendations on how do you handle all that?
Not how, but who.
Not how, but who, yeah.
Actually, I just thought about that as we were talking. And I think I've said this before, but it holds true to me because I have been very overwhelmed trying to figure out how to market my business. I have a degree in advertising and public relations, for heaven's sake. But for myself, it's been really hard. And because I see it all put together. And it just hit me as it was either Will or David was speaking, and about how, how overwhelming this is. Was David. Start today and start where you are. And if you are at point zero, which I sort of am, it's like, pick something, get good at it, do it. It doesn't all have to be put together right away. My personal.
I love that. And giving yourself grace, right? Like, because it doesn't matter where you're at in this process. You could look at this and you can start checking boxes like, oh, well, we're working on our blogs, but we've got social media, and you know what I mean? Like you can pick, and it's like okay, let's just start here. We can't we can't tackle it all. We got to start somewhere. And like what you said, Michelle, is you got to take action. It takes actionable steps to then create the success. And I think setting up consistency, right? So like Dana and I consistently every Monday, we have GSD, get stuff done Mondays. And so we hold each other accountable. So there is accountability that's offered to any of the GOL members as well, where you can show up together and we can help bounce ideas. And we just focus on that. And that's a weekly task. Dana can contest. She's come there's been a lot of development in Dana's world with that
Oh,
consistency. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, this is perfect because it's actually kind of normalizing and validating, because if I looked at this 6 months ago, I would have been like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I'm overwhelmed. I'm going back in my hole. See you later. Right. And I think my phrase of the year, and this has been really helpful, is follow the joy. Do the thing that calls to you that you get excited about, right? Like I had this moment, like shocking, in a moment I was so excited about social media. I made like 15 posts in a night, and it was just like came out of nowhere, and I was like, cool, this is great. And I post for like the next 15 weeks, right? And then, but the thought of cross-selling, downselling, upselling, like I'm not there yet. But I had a patient come in and ask me questions about those kinds of things. Like, oh, if I didn't take the package, like, can I do this? And so it gets my wheels turning, right? So I know what's coming next, right? And I'm thinking about it, but I'm not there yet. I'm still resistant to it, right? So I'm still in the place of like, I'm in the like the newsletters and the presentation because I want to reach out to my old patients. That's my next step. That's my joy, is sharing this new stuff that I've created with the old patients, right? And I've had my package out since January and I still haven't reached out to my old patients, right? So because it didn't excite me yet. I wasn't ready to share that with them. I didn't know what I wanted to say. I didn't know what the deal was that I wanted to give to them. And now after going to Stanley, it's all been clarified for me as to what my next step is, right? And so if I'd rushed that, I probably would have sent something I didn't want to send because I felt like I needed to, right? But now I'm like, oh, I know exactly what I want to offer them, and I'm really excited to share it with them. And when I come in with excitement, like y'all know me, I love my plants, I love my job. But when they come in with that, it's so received, right? Because it's coming from my heart, right? I just want everybody to love plants like I do, right? And so when I come at from that, that's what I'm trying to share. So then it doesn't feel overwhelming that I'm gonna, I picked out an email campaign and I wrote the email and I've got ideas and now I've just got to get the email list together. So I didn't even do it all in a day, right? And it's way less overwhelming for me now. It is so cool. So I agree with you, Michelle, like one day at a time. You are where you are. You're not going to get it all done in one day or in a week, and you can't hire all of it out because we wear too many hats, right? But pick people's brains. We've got so many people in GOL network. I collaborate with so many people. Like GSD Mondays are great. I work with so many people. I'm like, hey, can I just ask you this kind of question, right? And I open that up for me too. Like, hey, is turmeric good for me on my joints? Like, I'll happily entertain conversations like that because we're a community and we're here to help each other be the best versions of ourselves, right? And so use the community to your advantage, but then also know we're all in this together, and no one's expected to do all of this. Like maybe big corporations have it all, but not us.
they're usually dropping the ball somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all have
there's a
pitfalls.
lot of like and again, that's where you lose your voice, right? You hire a company, well, unless it's a company like mine, right? Where, they are just gonna can it, they're gonna throw out the AI, and that's what's gonna be. One of the things that you mentioned, Dana, and I really want to emphasize this for anybody that's listening as well, is that you do have the power, right, of the community, right? And that's so very, very important because when you leverage knowledge and expertise of other people and you're able to even ask them to help you, right, with the logistics of it, actually figuring it out and doing it with you, you take away a lot of the time suck that happens with trying to figure it out on your own, right? Trying to come up with the concepts on your own. And that can be huge. That can be very powerful because, like you said, you got into something that you're passionate about. You love what you do, right? You may not necessarily love building websites or may not necessarily love, how to, create a lead magnet or a funnel, right? But you have people in the community, you have friends, literal relationships that you can ask people for help and they will come running, right? Because that's what this community is about. It's about supporting one another in their business, right? And then also helping people to live better lives, to better health, right? So that is a
Yep.
huge thing. Recognizing that there are people out there that are willing to help you. And there's going to be times when you should pay, right? You should pay to have somebody professionally do it, right? And those times when they come, you'll do that, but there's so much that you can accomplish with just relying on the people and the friends that you have in this community. And it's just getting more and more powerful every day.
Mhm.
And talk
Yeah.
about ambassadors, like
Yeah.
having those conversations with other GOL people is like, you learn what they do, they learn what you do, and you're like, oh my gosh, you're a brilliant human. I'm going to refer everybody to you, right? Like, how many people, that's how I've created the relationships, is just sitting over coffee and going, oh my gosh, like, I'm honored to be in your presence, right? And they're saying the same thing. So it's like, we are all ambassadors of each other when we actually use each other's strengths, right? So yes, please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one thing I think's important, because Dana, I've kind of I've had the opportunity to watch you do this with your business, and just so impressed with what you're doing, and you mentioned not necessarily doing something until you feel it, and I want I want people to realize that doesn't mean you don't do anything, because one thing that I see you doing, you're always moving forward, and you may move what it is that you're working on. You may change it to whatever is inspiring you at the moment, but you don't stop. And because if you say, oh, I'm just not going to do anything until I feel it, and you sit on your butt, then you're going to get comfortable sitting there on your butt, and you're not going to get things done. So I think it's important to always keep moving. Go find something to do. Keep walking, even if it's slow. At least move forward. And then, like you said, at some point, that inspiration pops, or that conversation happens, and it's like, now I get it. Now it's time. And because you've taken some steps, because you have some momentum, you can grab a hold of that and really just get going when that inspiration does hit you.
Yeah, the other thing that you mentioned too is that getting clear on your vision, right? So you can understanding what that looks like, right? If you're going to do emails, how do I want them to feel, right? If you're going to do a website, how do I want that to look, feel? You know what I mean? And getting clear on like the overall aspect of what you're trying to do. Once you have that clear vision, you can write that down and know exactly what you want to accomplish. And then you can ask for help to fill in the gaps, right? Where you don't have that technical knowledge, right? So that's so very important too, is having a clear vision. We can do so much to help our customers with VSG Connect when they have a clear vision of exactly what they want, right? And it can be unreasonable. That's okay. It's all right if it's unreasonable, right? Because we have to figure it out, right? But then if you have that clear vision, it ends up being what you want. And if you don't have the clear vision, that's where you end up with a project that ends up someplace that you just didn't want to go in the first place. And it ends up being something that you're not happy with, right? Because you just kind of made it work along the way. So start out with that vision, start out with that clear vision of that goal of what you want something to look like. And let's fill in the gaps to get there.
Exactly. Exactly. Finding all the potholes. That's the whole point of the fireside chats. Find the holes, fill them. Find the holes and fill them. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was so good, you guys. That was a great, thank you, Will. Thank you for sharing and everybody putting their input. I think all of these meetings are so valuable. And sometimes we just need the reminders and the motivation, right? And that we're not alone and we have resources with each other to get refocused. We're coming closer to time. We have about 15 minutes. I know we talked about adding on a tip or trick, a quick tip or trick that you use in your marketing. I know Will shared one in the past, the 3 dots.
Oh, yes. Yeah, that's the quick tip or trick. I think I think what is super valuable that a lot of people aren't doing, and it's kind of time to do it, is actually going out and getting to know your neighbors, right? Especially if you have a brick and mortar, you have an office, right? Go swing some doors, introduce yourself, get to know your neighbors, Find out how you can cross refer business and patients to them. Invite them to the GOL network. If they're in the healing space, get them to be a part of what we're doing here, because it's making a huge impact and it's growing every single day. And you know, it used to be that, you know, the barber used to know the mechanic, used to know the restaurant owner down the street, used to know the laundry owner, right, in the same neighborhood. But we've gotten away from that. We've gotten away from being connected to the people that are in the offices next to us and the restaurants and the different places next to us. So if you have an opportunity, and maybe you don't have a brick and mortar, maybe you just have a favorite place that you like to go, right? Or you, whatever, right? A favorite restaurant. Go down the street and check it out. There are wonderful people out there in the healing space that have no idea that that GOL network exists, right? And invite them to be a part of it.
Yes. It's multiplication, and when we have more people coming in, it just helps everybody else out. I know Michelle and I just met today and talked about this. And I love that you did that. You did that recently with I Love Kickboxing, the Coffee Connect there, bringing in the local businesses and creating, you know, that goes back to that workflow and right, you know, creating the local connections, inviting them in, doing like your own little meetup group with your local group. I think that was a brilliant idea that Will came up with and worked with I Love Kickboxing on. That's a great
Yeah,
tip.
and we're looking to do that with more too. So if you guys, hey, if you got a great space and a great space and you guys want to do that stuff, let us know. We'll even help you promote it. We'll even help swing the doors and get it going. We'll take the videos and all that stuff, and we won't even charge you for it, because we're all about that, connecting people and connecting neighborhoods and getting people in the same space. So we're happy to do that. We're not charging for that. We'll do that just to help perpetuate what you're trying to accomplish.
Love it. You're amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Will. Thank you. Any last thoughts before we end the recording? Any last thoughts? Wise words? David D. Armand, do you have some wise words? I always write your wise words down. I have like a whole file on my phone of wise words.
I sure wish I could remember them. That would be great.
Oh, don't worry. I write them down.
Get the file.
I would love to speak to Dana. Dana, I am so, I mean, the first time I ever got to spend a good amount of time with you was at Nikki's birthday party in January. And I adored you then. And you have grown. I can just see this incredible, beautiful naturopathic doctor who is on fire. And I'm so, I have goosebumps. I am so excited for you.
We're proud of you. We're proud of you.
And proud of you. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Very much.
You know, and thank you. It means so much. I think, you know, I said the first time I made my vision board for my clinic, the number one word was community. And man, when that was met for me from light workers and community within myself and returning back to the forest, it was like, I'm just so happy, right? And like it's so good having these people to turn to, right? So thank you to GOL, and like honestly, these fireside chats are amazing. GSD Mondays are amazing. Like coffee and collaborations are amazing. I would never be in the place I am today without going to all those events. And I miss going. Like I want to clear my schedule now so I can go back to them every single one, because I love them for so many reasons. And thank you so much, Michelle. That means so much. And I'm just so honored to know all of you guys.
Thank you. I love that. That's what I love about our group is it's more than a networking group. It's community. It's, as Dana says, family.
Yep.
I love it. I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. Thank you to everybody that is on here, and thank you to everybody that is watching online. Make sure that you go to your member portal. This is all the recordings and the past recordings are on here. If you have missed out on the fireside chats, you've got to get on here live, be part of this. We pour into you, you pour into us. This is all about coming together. So thank you very much. Much love, and we will see you soon.